Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Buckle Up podcast. We're so glad that you all allowed us to come into your space tonight. We hope and pray that the information that we bring to you will be beneficial, helpful, and will allow you to see things and people in a different perspective. And hopefully, we can all grow and be better from it. Before we do anything, it is always our custom to ask you to do at least 3 things for us. And you know what they are. To like, share, and to, what's the third thing? Subscribe to this podcast. So if you would do that for us, it would be so beneficial, and I think that we'll all be better off of that as well. Tonight, I have with me 2 people that I'm very fond of, and it seems like the more I get to know them and talk to them, the better I get just for the experience. I have with me tonight Miss Alicia Johnson and her husband, George Johnson, 2 incredible people, and we're excited for them to be able to share a little bit about who they are and what they do, and we're just going to rally around that tonight and see what we have in store. Now, I do know a few things about George and Alicia, but I'm going to allow them to share even more. I do know that Alicia has an entrepreneur spirit, and as you can see on our coffee table, you have one of her entrepreneurial ventures in front of you. It's called EBONY-OPOLY. That just sounds good all by itself, and I can't wait for her to tell us more about that. And then her husband, George, is a all-around dynamic guy as well. And one of the things that he is passionate about is poetry. So you have the business entrepreneur and the poet here tonight, and we're going to just dialogue. So if you will, I'm going to start with you, Alicia. Tell us just a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself, and then we'll go with you, George.
Well, thank you, Pastor. So my name's Alicia Hemphill Johnson. Sorry, it's not Hemphill, it's Johnson. Just got married in December of 2023.
Woo! Hold on, y'all.
So,
let's shout right there. December 2023. Congratulations. All right.
Thank you to this fantastic man.
Yeah.
So we both live in this area. We're members of the church, new members, I guess a little bit about me. We talked about a little bit from the East Coast.
Yeah.
I've been primarily in medical devices, but I've always had a desire to start a business. So I've, went through all of the business things, such as the multi-level marketing, Amway. There was a telephone one for a while. And lost money.
Yeah.
But you have that desire to continue to find your way. So I did have a coaching business, for a while. It was called Beyond the Limitations. As part of that, I needed to record videos, and so I think I was beginning to share teachings on biblical entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And I had to find someone who would help me create the videos. And my current business partner is a serial entrepreneur. He's a pastor. He ran for mayor in Arlington not too long ago.
Okay.
And he's also a filmographer.
Really?
And so we were talking about the time that George Floyd was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been working with some young women. We were working with Kathleen Steele, who is the wife of Charles Steele, who is the current president of the Southern Christian Leader Conference, SCLC. And she was teaching us women, a small group of women, about women in the movement. And it was the first time that I really realized there were women that worked with Martin Luther King. I didn't know that. And these were 30 and 40-year-old women, and it was amazing to watch them realize that they had a place in history.
Yes.
And that, there were women like them that were on the forefront of the movement. This was all new to all of us, and I've been around for a while. And so to see them become ignited about, wow, they wanted about what they were hearing. They wanted to find their place in history too, and began being energized, wanted to work in registration, voter registration, so they were getting involved. And I was sharing this with my current business partner as we were filming a video, and we were talking about George Floyd and how, it's igniting people, and he started talking about history and in the context of Dallas history, and he began talking about a version of this game that he had developed, but it had not been, it was only as a prop for a video. And so I heard about it, and I was like, well, how much is the game? And he said, it's just a prop. And so that was when the company was born. I said,
Really?
We've got to get this game on the market. So September 2020, we formed the company. December 2020, we actually launched and sent this to our distributor, to be manufactured.
I don't know about you all, but I'm getting excited just hearing about this. So, Alicia, hold that thought, because I want to come back, because you just pricked my attention on not just the entrepreneur part, but also the movement part, and the sisters that were involved in that movement, and it's just amazing how when a movement comes, it moves you, right? It moves you out of your comfort zone. It moves you to places that you don't mind sacrificing your time and your talent and a part of your treasure to make sure that movement is successful, right? So we're going to talk about that too. Thank you for adding to my outline, even while you were sitting there. So, but George, introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about you and how you came to be sitting right here with this lovely young lady that you have here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my name is George Johnson. I've been writing poetry for over 20 years. I do have a background in criminal justice. I have a degree from Sam Houston in criminal justice. I've had an opportunity to work with various companies and things of that nature, but going through life, I really just wanted to express myself, and poetry was a way of me expressing myself and having that opportunity to put paper on pen, on paper, and get those words out and express myself. So I definitely enjoy writing the poetry and just being able to, just take it to another level. There's just so many different things that I've had an opportunity to write about, whether it was a cultural awareness or whether it was for breast cancer or things of that nature. Just writing different things over the years. But what I really wanted to do is just hone it down to just one particular category. Okay. So I wanted to do something that had never been done before and try to, compose a gospel poetry book, where it's just a bunch of poems composed of just gospel poetry. So,
okay, George, hold on one second. Now, on the Buckle Up podcast, when someone drops a nugget, we just pause for a minute. You don't let that nugget stay on the ground. We pick that up and wrestle with that. So, George, you dropped a nugget. You said you wanted to hone in on this particular genre, gospel poetry.
Right.
Woo.
Yeah.
I got to hear more about this.
Yeah, no, I definitely wanted to just do something that, like I said, had never been done before and has never been done before. And, I wanted to create something that would be thought-provoking and create an image in your mind that would just take you to another place and get you to understand how real sanctification is and how real God is and Jesus and the things that he's done and, the things that he can save you from and the things that he saved me from. So I wanted to take that opportunity to take it to another level and put it on a different platform.
Man, thank you. I think it's going to be hot tonight. I think it's going to be an awesome podcast. One of the things that I've noticed in my short time of getting to know George and his wife Alicia as well is I consider George a triple G. George, gentle giant. Man, I tell you, George and I had the privilege of having lunch together a couple weeks ago, and just when you sit down with someone and you have an opportunity to hear their hurts, hear their hopes, hear their heart, and kind of gives you a idea of who you're really talking to. And I've just been so I've been better off ever since the conversation. I pray that you were as well.
Absolutely.
So tonight, for a few minutes, just want to share with have this couple share with us some of their the challenges. Alicia, I want to ask you because let's talk about the movement piece with the sisters first, because we're in a space right now where I feel another movement coming on, and sisters are definitely helping to propel this movement forward. But that should not really surprise us, because truth be told, sisters have been carrying a lot of the hurt, the pain. Now, I'm not sitting up here trying to make make it something that it's not, but it is a reality. And I did not realize until I was maybe, and I apologize for this, until I was about maybe 45 years old, just how hard sisters were having it. Just because they're sisters. Not because they're not intellectually strong, not because they're not emotionally strong, not because they're not thinkers, laborers, but just because they're sisters. And as a pastor, and also as a man, I want to use every platform and weight that I have afforded to me to uplift all humanity. Men, women, boys, I want us all to have, because in God's eyes, we're all equal, right? We may have different responsibilities as gender, but as far as God's concerned, we're all equal. So let's give everybody the opportunity to play the role that God has for them. Share with me a little bit more about that, Alicia.
I do agree with you. I believe that, African Americans as a whole struggle. Mm-hmm. And women and men have their own unique struggles. Yeah. We have our own strengths, and they're God-given strengths. Yes. So as far as women in the movement, I think, and what I learned from learning about women working with Dr. King, is women utilize their own strengths, and so I think that's a God-given ability, right? And there's room for women and men to work together. Yeah. So in the movement, the women were organizers, and they created the network, and they rallied the people in support of the vision. Sure. And so that I think that's how we can, and by no means not being in a subservient manner. Sure. But being successful in the area that they're able to contribute. And women are the keepers of the stories for the most part. We know what sister, brother, uncle, we know the secrets, right? And so, to the point where, and that's one of the struggles that I know I had. I worked in a mostly, white male dominated in engineering environment. And I grew up, as we talked about, in Silver Spring, Maryland, where when I was growing up, there was a lot of equality. And I remember when I left, I remember telling my mother, Mom, racism is over, until I left DC, right? Right. And I got a different taste of it in corporate America.
And Alicia, that journey you carried with you, and it takes a unique skill not to let what was designed to make you bitter, but to use it to make you better. And I remember, this was 15 years ago. 15 years ago. We just started our church. And there was a young lady, well, she was older than me, but she was a sister that was serving as my church administrator. And we would meet every week, and she was very organized and smart, and you know, just everything that you would want. But there was this one particular trait that just kept rubbing us the wrong way, that kind of grated at each other. And I finally got down to the bottom of it. I remember she told me one day, she says, everywhere I've been, I've had to fight to prove myself to men. And I said, whoa, slow down, sis, slow down. I said, I'm not some corporate giant that's trying to keep you from being all that you can be. I'm not trying to keep you from rising up in the corporate structure. And I said, as a matter of fact, when you do good, we all do good. So let's kind of adjust this a little bit. And it's amazing how once we fought through that, once we had to struggle through that, how it made the whole relationship different. And so we have to be careful that these battles that we come out of for survival, once we get to a place that we can really start to thrive, we don't let those things, continue to be on our back. Would you agree to that?
100%.
All right. George, kind of flip it a little bit. You shared with me that you have a background in criminal justice, and you but your heart is for poetry. Share with us, if you would, how do you prepare yourself, or how do you know when in the songwriting industry, they say, I know I got a hit, right? But George, how do you know you have come to a place where you see something and you can put pen to paper?
Yeah. As far as the creativity, basically, I think of it as, and I try to get a picture or an image in my mind if I get inspired by anything like that, and I try to see how a story would flow out of that situation or whatever that image or picture is in my mind, and I try to see how that story would flow and try to put a beginning and an end to it. And once I put the beginning and the end to it, then I'm able to create something in the middle, in between, so that way we have a starting point and then we have an ending point as far as what I want to say and what I want that image to be in your mind once I leave, and once it's all said and done. What I want you to think at the end, as far as the whole concept of the poem and where it might have taken you and things of that nature. So that's basically just where it comes from. I try to just get nuggets from anywhere. Maybe it's a sermon or maybe it's something that just comes to my mind, or some of the poems that I have in there are basically based on modern culture.
We're gonna talk about some of this.
Yeah, that's lit. It's really living in truth.
Wow.
So I take it to another level. I take it to another place. There's other poems in there. There's another poem in there that you've had an opportunity to look at called One Life. A lot of people don't really know, but I grew up in the '90s, and One Life is actually a poem that I wrote after a Nas song. One Mic. I don't know if a lot of people listened to Nas back in the day. But he used to be my favorite rapper.
Really?
So inspiration comes from anywhere for me. And I really try to take that inspiration and try to take that message that I have. Try to turn it into something spiritual, something good, and something that people can relate to.
Yeah, I'm loving it. One of the things, George, that I shared when I was giving a brief introduction of you was that I got a chance to hear your hopes, your hurt, and your heart. And oftentimes those three things can be used for inspiration, things that hurt you, things that you have hope to achieve or hope to see, and just your heart, your desires. I remember watching a movie, it was called The Five Heartbeats. Remember Five Heartbeats?
Oh, Eddie Kane.
Eddie Kane. Eddie Kane. Do you remember Duck? Duck was
the songwriter.
The songwriter, okay. So Robert Townsend, yes. Duck. One of the scenes, Duck was trying to be a good writer and blah blah blah. And then Duck said, somebody told Duck, he said, Duck, you're going to be a great writer when you've hurt some more, when you've experienced some hurt. So when you were doing the lit poem, LIT, Living in Truth. Tell me, would that have been motivated from a hurt, from a hope, or from a desire, your heart?
I would actually say that lit was actually a pretty recent poem that I just recently wrote, and basically just living in truth. I would say it's.
Do you want to read some of it as well? I mean, is this a platform for you to do that? Are you trying to say this for the book come with you? How you want to do this, George?
Oh no, it doesn't matter. I can read.
George, read. Okay, set it up for us first.
Okay.
And then let us know the motivation, the thought that was coming from.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, so I would definitely say as far as lit, like I said, this was a pretty recent one that I just wrote not too long ago, and I think in my mind I was just taken back to a life prior to Alicia. You know,
Really?
So things, you know, when things were good, and just thinking about how I had to overcome some things in life, and just maybe shred some people, because not all the time, sometimes people are just there for a season, in your life and everything like that, and. So basically, this one is just that's lit. Just talks a little bit about that,
And the lit stands for what again? Living in truth.
Living in truth. That's lit.
Okay.
Yeah, living in truth. Right. I was manipulated by a mastermind. Never thought that this was the future of mine. Coerced and confused beyond belief, I was living a lie that wasn't for me. Surrendering to a master that I never knew. I forgot who I was. Now I'm living in truth. A lie ain't nothing for a sinner to tell. Lessons I've learned while in the depths of hell. I had to tell the truth and shame the devil. I was never meant to be on his level. As the plot got thicker, the sins did too. I forgot who I was. Now I'm living in truth. I needed his feathers to come and cover thee. I knew that this was not my destiny. I was battered and bruised with no relief. I had to tell the truth for the world to see. It was my shield when he rescued me. And now I'll be lit for eternity.
George, I got some chills going up through here. Now, I don't know if you all could have watched this or not, but as George was reading, his wife was illuminating. She was just like glowing over there, man. Like that was wow.
So I have to say, watching him and watching the process, because this was written recently. I don't think I'm as creative, and so it's wonderful to watch the thought, the inspiration. But even the way that he puts the words into rhyming and stanzas, and I'm just enthralled. I'm like, wow, how did he do this?
Right.
And it just comes.
Right,
And so I have to say it's been an honor, really, to watch that process.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is good.
I'm serious.
Oh, I know, we know. Anybody watching it, we know you serious. They can see you. And when you see yourself, you'll be like, yeah, I'm serious. So, man, now, George, was that written out of those three buckets? The hopes, the hurts, or the heart? Was there one particular bucket that overrode the other? Was it a combination?
I would definitely say it was a combination. I would say hope and heart.
Okay, hope and heart. Okay.
Or hope and hurt, because it's talking a little bit about how I was hurt, manipulated by a mastermind. Yeah. So, just growing up, being a young man, and everything like that, we got to learn the game.
Yeah.
We got to. So.
And the game is not designed for us to win.
That's no. But yeah. So and then also from a standpoint of hope, because like I say, it was written recently, but I was thinking about a life that I used to live. So actually, I'm hoping that it reaches somebody else that can understand and see, through the lies and deceit that they may be going through with some other people. So,
Woo! Now listen, look, y'all, look. I don't know. We got to get this. George, talk about some publishing. Talk to me about that. What we doing? Where are we? Because that's just one. Now I think we're gonna let them debut about 2 more tonight if we can stand them. But
Yeah.
tell me about.
So
some publishing.
basically, what we want to do is we want to put about 23 to 25 of them good together.
Okay.
On the finishing touches for the last couple of them. Hopefully, we can get everything published within the next couple of months. I know one month by month really.
Yeah, you're fine.
We're on the last stage, So,
See, you can't manipulate creativity.
There you go.
See, because then it becomes commercial.
Exactly.
You gotta let that thing marinate. You can't put it in the crock pot.
Right.
You want to put you can't put it in the microwave. You gotta put it in the crock pot.
Yeah.
You want it to be tender when it comes out.
Right.
Man.
Yeah. So definitely.
That's gonna help me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what's the schedule? What are we doing today?
And see, and that's the beauty of it, Alicia. See, when you were sitting there, you said something like, "Well, I don't know if I had that creativity," but you have a aspect of this journey that God is going to use the both of you all to come together, and for God's going to be glorified, and we're going to be edified, and the words for the come from your heart and your mind are going to make Satan horrified because he's going to be exposed. And this is what I'm talking about, man. This, friends, this is it.
Yeah.
Now I know why I wanted to be here with you all so badly. This is real. This is, and to see the gifts that God has given you, Alicia, and to see them married with George's gifts, and to watch this train move down the road at God's pace. And let me say this, because it's like you're on this journey, right? But you didn't create the journey. God created the journey. You just got involved with what God was doing, and now you're going down the road with it.
Right.
Wow. So, whew. All right. So, okay. Now let's kind of shift again. We got a few things working on here. Now, Alicia, we're gonna come back to some of this though. We're gonna come back to some. Alicia, share with me the EBONY-OPOLY. Now zoom in the camera in. That's the shirts they're wearing. EBONY-OPOLY. Our history should not be what?
A mystery.
Ooh, you hear that? Y'all, who wrote that? You rhyming too?
That was their concept.
That was their concept. Our history should not be a mystery.
That's the concept.
Come on,
behind
y'all.
this game.
So I see this going over into some areas, especially when there's this certain segment of society now trying to erase our history, trying to take us out of the libraries, trying to say that our history was not what it was. So now we have a way to keep our history from being a mystery. Talk to me about that, Alicia.
And you hit the nail on the head. So this game is set during the Reconstruction Era, directly out when blacks came directly out of slavery. And we chose that time frame for a number of reasons. When you look on the box, you'll see, the first thing you'll note is the dignity of African Americans. Yeah. And that was intentional. But these are actual pictures. We didn't create these. This is how we used to attire ourselves when we went to church, when we walked out.
Yeah.
And right after slavery, it's interesting. You would think that African Americans would have had a difficult time, but it was really a renaissance.
It really was, yes.
All right, so we had politicians, we started businesses. There were no rules. It was only during maybe 100 so years afterwards, maybe it began a little after Reconstruction, where Jim Crow laws came into place, and that really suppressed our ability to prosper. But we prospered. We spread out, and we took what we learned and we put it to use, and we wanted to capture that.
Yeah, we had the Black Wall Streets in Tulsa and Florida, some other places that were really thriving. Yeah.
And that's what we captured on the game.
Really?
So the board game are, instead of like the B&O Railroad, those were stops on the Underground Railroad. And so we have Greenwood Avenue, from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Come on now.
And so we have the chance, and the community cards are reenactment of what it was like to live in that area. Even in racism, even in discrimination, we thrived, right? It's amazing. People recently learned about Black Wall Street. Like, I remember when it became a thing, and people were amazed that we had millionaires within a square mile of Oklahoma. So one of the unique features of our game is because we wanted to capture our history and propagate those lessons, and to tell our history in a fun way. So all ages can play this. One of the things we put on the back is a QR code where you can scan it if you purchase that property. You can scan it, and there's a history lesson.
Come on, hold on for a minute. Wait a minute, Alicia. Slow down. This thing is what? So as you're playing, it's not just a recreational game, it's also an educational game.
It's an educational game, and from this game, we also teach finances, financial empowerment. And our intention was to bring African Americans back around the dinner table. Because most of the things that we have now they're individual. I can play a game and be in the same room, and I can't relate to you. But we intentionally made this low tech, no tech, so that we could bring grandma and auntie and little junior around the table. And this ends up generating a lot of questions because people don't know what a cotton gin is. They didn't know what do you think the number one, and the one thing that's interesting is these cards are indicative. If you draw the card, you're going to experience what it was like to live as a Black person in that day. And so one of the most things that the kids say is, this isn't fair, but we want you to understand this is where we came from.
Alicia, George, when I do a podcast, I have an idea of what we want to do, but oftentimes God just steps in and just takes it in ways that we couldn't take it. And what I'm sitting here hearing tonight with both of your journeys, you and your husband, George, both of your journeys, is so much purpose behind it. And because there's so much purpose behind it, we're going to have to put a lot of prayer behind it. Because both of these endeavors are designed to liberate, to make us better, right? In a way that has some substance to it, some weight to it, some validity to it, So man, then tell me about that QR code on the back again. That just blew my mind. So
it's intended to, if I landed on Greenwood Avenue.
Right.
And, the intent of EBONY-OPOLY or these types of games is to acquire properties.
Right.
So I would purchase this property, and then I would take my phone, not just purchase it, but I would scan it.
Okay.
And when I scanned it, it'll pop up, hopefully, to two things for this one.
Yeah.
Every game, actually, every property has a written history about the property.
Okay.
And so it will help you understand why it's historical significance to us. When you play regular Monopoly, you don't know what those properties are for, right? And so you can see that, we've got pictures and video. The other things that some of these properties, many of them, we've actually been to location and we've interviewed people, historians there. So this is Phil Armstrong, who was the curator of the new Greenwood Rising Museum for Black Wall Street. And he's talking about additional information that most people didn't know or understand about, the massacre. And so we've been to several of these properties and we've recorded people. So this is a way, our hope is that, our history we want to preserve, present, and make history fun.
Because if you know better, you can do better.
One of the things that I remember watching these young women, so this was my motivation, is I saw a group of women learn that they had a place. And I say this when we do talks. I say, it's difficult for people to invest in the future if they don't know that they have a place in the past. And so these young women realized they had a place in history, and then it mobilized them to want to also contribute to the future. And so they began to get involved. And that's when I realized a lot of times people aren't involved, it's because they don't have an investment.
Ooh. Mentor, big sister of mine, told me, she said, people help to support what they help to build. They have a voice in it. So this is weighty. Now, are the games in production now? And if somebody wanted to order one, how could they go about ordering them? I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm going to get 2. All right, I'm getting two, and I think I am. How much are they? I'm just playing. No, I'm just playing.
I know the owner.
I'm going to get 2. I want 2, and I want 2. I'm going to give them away. I'm going to give them away to my daughter, who's 28, and maybe my goddaughter, who's 26. I want them, when they're sitting around with their friends, but they always get together. One thing about that group, they love community. They love community. Now, their community may be them sitting around in a room with 12 different phones, with 12 different things, but somehow they make it work. But to your point, to bring them around the table, whew, that's rich. So tell us where we can get them and how to go about getting those.
Well, you can purchase them from our website, www.EBONY-OPOLY.com. But we're in several bookstores. We're, depending on where you are, we're in the Doc Bookshop in Fort Worth. We're in Pan-African Bookstore in Dallas. We're in the African American Museum. And we're in several African American bookstores around
So you're in the African American Museum?
In Dallas.
In Dallas, okay.
Yes.
That's heavy. Yeah, you just have no idea who the Lord puts in your path. So, all right, got that. Now, how much are they?
So on our website, they're $49.99. But we do run specials. So if
I might get 3.
Depending on
right.
The time of year, we have multiple coupon codes. We have discounts.
You give them as gifts, man. That's just y'all help, friends. Help me, help you. Help me, help us. Let's get this. Let's go viral with this. This is real. This is rich. I mean, every African American home should have something like this on its table. You need the Bible and ebony-opoly.
And my husband's book.
And yes, of course. We're coming to that. Well, I tell you, she loves that man, y'all. She won't let me plug it. She gonna plug it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Pastor.
No, I got you. I love y'all. You both of you all make me excited about life. Because there's something in you that's not just common it's real, it's God-given, and the humility in which you all walk in it is real. And speaking of real, that's the title of another one of your poems. What is real?
What is real?
Now, share with us, George, if you would, what category this came from, hurt, hope, or heart, and you know how you created this process.
Yeah, this one probably came from heart, you know, and just realizing how much God loves me and how much He loves everybody. This was probably one of the poems that I wrote maybe 20 years ago. This was one of the older ones.
Really?
Yeah, and like I was telling you earlier, I grew up in the 90s and things like that. So when the phrase real actually came out, you know, people were talking about cars, having nice cars and nice houses, plush stuff and nice clothes. And they would be like, that's real, you know, that you got a real outfit on. I wanted to distinguish between the two. You know, you have the physical and you have the spiritual realm, you know, and I wanted to distinguish between what is really real, you know. So this is basically the concept of where this poem comes from. So what is real? This is also the title of the book as well. So
okay, this the title page.
Right, this is the title.
All right.
Right. Real is the way that you love me when I fall to my knees and beg you, Father, forgive me, please. I sin against you in many ways and many days, but your love keeps saving me from the grave. Real is the way that you gave your son so that I may have eternal life. Yet, in this world, I know the difference between wrong and right. The blood that he bled on Calvary is something that I will never feel. But as the time passes on, I realize that what he did was real. Real is the way that you saved my soul from drowning in the depths of sin sea. You heard my cry for help, my desperate plea. When I was down and out and my friends were nowhere around, you carried me on your back to make sure my feet were on solid ground. Real is the way that you tuck me in each night and wake me up each day, making me humble as I get on my knees to pray. God, we have a relationship stronger than Jonathan and David, an unbreakable seal. Because, Lord, I give my soul to you. Now that's real.
That's George Johnson Jr., ladies and gentlemen. Are you junior?
I am.
That's George Johnson Jr., ladies and gentlemen. Listen now, listen now. Oh boy, he cooking over here. He's cooking. George Johnson.
Yeah.
Really? What's real?
What is real? What is real?
We live in such a pseudo place, but we know what's real.
What's real?
And once you've tasted a real Coca-Cola, you probably don't want to die.
No.
I mean, not me anyway. You know, I mean, I want all the real like
right. You want all of it,
all of it. So yeah, you know, why would we substitute a pseudo for? I mean, if I gave my wife a cubic and tried to play it off as a real one, she'd be upset, wouldn't she?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What's real? Oh wow, man. Now, George, when can we expect to see this in print form or digital, or however you want to release it?
Yeah, actually, so we're talking about two different platforms, whether it's the hard copy, of course, where it'll be on paper, black and white, and then also doing an audio book as well. Once the publication comes out, having it done an audio book as well, so that way, you know, it will reach a lot more people.
Yes.
So one of the things that I would like to do is, as a matter of fact, in November at the Doc Bookshop in Fort Worth, they're having a book signing as well. So I've already been invited there, so I just got to get everything done. So hopefully, I would like to say no later than November.
Okay. Well, George, your pastor, your friend, your big brother, will be praying for you, supporting you, encouraging you, and I hope that you will have heard this brother's hopes, his hurt, and his heart as he's putting his intimate feelings on paper. That, you know, you have to be vulnerable to do that, and the only way you can be vulnerable is you have to have humility and trust that you're going to be protected, and God is going to protect you. I believe that with all my heart, George. I believe that with all my heart, George Johnson. Yeah. One more, George. You have one more that I want you to share with us. And this one is called One Life.
One life.
One life. You only just get, no, that's different. Give me some one life, George.
All right, so this is one life. Like I told you, this is one of the earlier ones as well.
Okay.
Okay. All I have is one life to purify my polluted flesh. One life to remove these demons from my chest. Because on the limbs of my soul there lies a nest where Satan used to rest and conceive demons to test a soul that he didn't know was blessed. All I need is one life to give to you what's inside of me. One life to prove to you how desperately the depths of my soul call for thee. And when they see how your love is impacting me, your children of this world will be set free. You're all I have, and for you I will fight. You are my Lord, and I am your knight. When I cannot see, you are my light, loving me with all of your might. Consider me a soldier at no price. This is our war, so I give to you one life.
Wow. And I wish you all could have seen my producer. He's off camera. He's over there, man. He's having a moment.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that some of the people that have just heard that are having a similar moment.
Yeah.
Because it's rich and it's real. Thank you, George. Thank you, George. Hey, listen now, friends, we're going to have this information up, hopefully on our podcast. We have that information, the EBONY-OPOLY, all the websites, and George, you're going to get your information. And when you see this information will be there on our podcast site for you. Support them. Support Alicia. Support George. Because supporting them, you're supporting yourself. You're supporting all of us. And I just can't wait to see. Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard. It hasn't even entered into the heart of man what God has in store for those who love him, that are called according to his purpose. And this couple here has a purpose. They have a purpose. So, if you would, Alicia, I'm going to give me about a minute and a half parting words, and then George, you do the same, and then I'll shut us down for the night.
So I just want to thank you so much for having us.
Pleasure's ours.
You know, I could talk about the game, I could talk about the book, but I just want to thank you for being, you know, who you are. You know, as a new couple, right, we did recognize very early on that we had a purpose, and that's been the one, you know, biggest driving factor in our marriage. And so when we got married, you know, my husband found this church, found one of your messages, and we're just so blessed to be here. And you know, I know this is a place, as the motto is, we're going to go and we're going to grow. So thank you, and thank you, audience, for your support and for tuning in.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you so very much. George, share with us some parting words.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Just a lot of gratitude. Thank you. Thank you for the attention, the opportunity, the platform. Definitely please go out and show your support for our endeavors. We greatly appreciate it. Let the information that we're passing to you enrich your life. Thank you for this church. Thank you for the leadership of the church. Thank you for all those that are watching, and enjoy what we're trying to get out to you.
Wow. Well, thank you both. I will say this: I am better off as a husband, a father, a friend, a pastor, and a man, because I have people like George and Alicia. They think I'm speaking to them, but they also are speaking to me. It's a koinonia, it's a give and take. And I'm so appreciative of that. That's our podcast for tonight. And please, again, subscribe, like, and share this podcast. And until we meet again, buckle up, because we are moving forward.